Okay, there we go. Just get the door shut over a bit. All right, here we are. How you doing, Dele?
Oh, has this started?
We've started, yeah, man.
Wow.
We started. Yeah, you was just chilling on your phone like
I know.
naked, man. Like you're not even nervous about this at all. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good, you're natural, bro. That's right. You know that. My man, thank you for having me. Seriously, really appreciate you giving me this time. And it's like, late in the day as well. You really put it out for me, man. So I appreciate that. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Luton's Deadpool podcast with me, Luton's Deadpool, my friend today. Well, not my friend just today, my friend for a good while now.
Yeah, it's been a good while. Yeah.
Bro, thank you, seriously. It really means a lot. Like the support you show me throughout the time. Yeah. Every time that I see you, you're always so friendly. And, it's just been a pleasure to know you as a person because you're a lovely guy. Really mean it, man.
Thank you very much. Just the positive energy, isn't it? Remember when we first met?
Yeah.
Like everything was just positive, So
what was that like for you? Tell the people, what it was like when we first met. What happened?
Yeah. I remember we met at Abina, and I forgot the gentleman's name now. Yeah, you'll not be happy with me about that. At their radio. Their radio show.
Mr. B.
Mr. B, that's it.
It was on LUR, Luton Urban Radio, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
That was great. Yeah, you guys weren't expecting me at all, right? I remember seeing you were so shocked at first, like you didn't know what was going on.
We were not expecting to see you, but but I remember the energy though, the positivity was just like...
That was a great show, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that. Very good show. Really enjoyed that. Good. I enjoyed listening to you guys speak as well about the church and what you guys do and what you believe in. And it's just lovely to see the church in the way that you guys foresee it and how it helps people. It's beautiful to see that you guys have that same level of positivity energy that I try to emit out to the world all the time. So it's good, man. It's really good to see. So how long have you been a part of the church? And the church is Potter's House, right?
Yes, Potter's House, Luton. I've been a part of the church since 2004.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, and it's been, a really good, influence, I would say in my life,
Yeah.
Through it, I would say I found, purpose.
Yeah.
Found, God, obviously.
Yeah.
Through Jesus. But then I've also found purpose through it, it really brought, a structure and a direction to my life,
Yeah.
I think I probably was bordering depression before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to tell you're such a happy guy nowadays.
I know.
Every time I see you smiling all the time.
You're
the happiest man that I know.
People say that funny enough. A lot of people say that even at my workplace recently.
But it's not always been the case, no?
No,
Really?
I remember, before that journey of me finding God, walking on the street and thinking there must be more to life than this.
Yeah.
And I was doing what a lot of people do, you do the clubbing, the drinking and what people do for fun.
Yeah. To
find joy and satisfaction. And I just feel so very empty,
Yeah.
And it's a interesting thing that, I don't do a lot of those things anymore and I'm full of life,
Yeah.
So, it's really a blessing, It's really a blessing. The church has been a blessing and, God, Jesus,
that's what's a big
blessing.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's, do you know what? Obviously, I'm not religious myself, but what I do, I always espouse this belief because I deeply believe it that a lot of people need religion in their life. A lot of people need it in their life. And it's not necessarily because of what the belief structure is. And, if you're a good Muslim and you're a good Christian, you're both good people. Or if you're good, if you practice Jewish faith, or if you're a Sikh, or if you're Hindu, if you practice it well, you're not going to be doing much bad out there in the world. Do you know what I mean? You're going to do a lot of good. So I always see religion as being a really good foundation for people to grow and develop and do kind acts and be charitable. That's kind of what I see all religions as being. And obviously for you, you've got a very personal connection with the church and with Jesus and with God, and
yeah,
but it's not always been the case. So let's go back in time and talk
yeah.
about like a young Dele. Yeah. So where are you from originally, Dele?
I'm from Nigeria
Okay.
originally. Yeah, like my parents, my dad and my mom, are Nigerians.
Yeah.
Like I was born in the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
but I grew up in Nigeria, so that's where my accent, come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up, I was your typical, young person.
Yeah.
Although,
cheeky. I bet you was cheeky.
was I?
I bet you was. Look at that smile. I know you're cheeky.
Possibly, like, but I think my memory of being a young person was really like I was very, very into, basically, you could say animals to some extent, like I used to crash, grasshoppers.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, and then keep them,
Yeah.
and then watch them, like ant lions,
Yeah.
And coming from Nigeria, like a lot of the facilities you have here,
Yeah.
you don't have them, like, growing up, we did not have them. So I was even thinking about this, recently. I would not have classed myself as a creative person growing up, but we were really creative, I remember, like, we watched basketball on TV, and because we did not have a basketball ring, I remember having an old bucket,
Yeah.
and then kind of cutting the middle of the old bucket,
Yeah.
hanging it to the side of the house,
Yeah.
and then using football as a basketball, and that's our basketball.
Do you know what? For not having much to work with, that's a low tech solution to a thing that you love. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been to, obviously went to the basketball fundraiser.
Yes.
And, man, it was such a great event. I love basketball. I've always been a big fan of the actual sport. I haven't watched a lot of it in recent years, but I used to keep up with it all the time. Man. So it was always like neck and neck between basketball and football for me. What I loved.
Oh wow!
So I totally relate to that need to like want to play it and try. You watch it and then you want to play.
You don't want to play. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. And it was amazing. Like how we were able to create a lot from that. Like the same thing with golf. Saw golf. We don't have golf club or anything like that.
Yeah.
Did that, in the ground. Got some stick made.
Made golf clubs.
Yeah, and marble. Use marble as a golf ball.
No way.
I know. It was like. And we did the same thing with Odu. That was actually the one that I think, like was the craziest.
Yeah. Because
we had, back for us, we had this, like stick. They were using it for construction work. Yeah. I'm surprised that, my dad must have been a very understanding man because, I'm surprised that we survived that. but what we did is like, we actually cut it and then dug hole on the street and use them to make odors. Okay. And we actually had odor races on the road. With all in the ground and this stick, you making odor. So, yeah, well, don't think about those things when you're growing up. You just do them. And it's because of whenever you lack, it's like your brain switches on and tries to make something happen. Right? Make something happen. Yeah, because you don't, I remember, I know we have very different upbringings, but for me, when I was a kid, I remember being very bored for long periods of time. Not being bored as in there's a lot to do, but just you're stuck indoors in Britain a lot when it's raining. You can't go out and play with your friends. And back in the 90s, at least, I can say that we didn't have a lot in terms of like tech and stuff. And I had some toys and whatever, but I had to make my fun a lot of the time. Whereas today, it's just given to kids. Like you've got a phone. And it doesn't take you long to go and find something that you can watch, or play and stay entertained for the entire day. That's true. Yeah, I do. I think that creates a lack of that creativity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Probably maybe it's a different type of creativity. Yeah. Like a lot of like YouTube channels. I think a lot of creativity have gone digital now. Yeah. Just because the influence, of the young people have access to, iPads, laptops. So because of that, a lot of their creativity tend to stamp around that. Yeah. Whereas, like we did not have as many of that.
Yeah.
Because of that, our creativity is different.
And do you know what? It helps as well when you're, say if you're queuing, you're always queuing for something in England.
Yeah.
So if you're queuing and you've got nothing to do, you've got a dead phone, whatever, you can, because we've built the ability to do it, we can stay focused and okay in a boring situation. Like I can count ceiling tiles and it'll keep me satisfied. You know what I mean? When you're a kid and you just look up at the ceiling and you count things, or like you make shapes with things. Like, that's what I'll do a lot. If I'm bored, I just kind of make shapes out of things that are around me, and it keeps, it's like, I guess it's something that it allows time to pass quicker in a boring situation where you're not doing anything else. And I think just having that is energizing your brain, because then it's like you're giving your brain a little bit of a workout, because when you've got things to watch, it's your brain's doing nothing. You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there taking it in. But then when you're actually having to create something, it's like an action. It's like, doing reps with a dumbbell. Do you know what I mean? But you're doing it with your brain.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Makes you smarter and stronger and sharper. And, you know what I mean? I feel like doing the podcasting stuff, like, I feel I'm talking to so many people. I feel like I'm getting better at talking to people, just because it's like a constant training exercise. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know. The people will be the judge. They're probably going to say that I'm getting worse as time goes on. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure you are getting better. And that's it, isn't it? The more you exercise, something, improve, isn't it? Like said, the muscle.
Yeah, exactly. So when did you come to England anyway? When was the first time?
I think I came as a young person. Like I came when I was about 6 or 7.
Okay.
But when I came to actually stay was about 96.
96. Okay.
Yeah.
Good year, man. It's a good year.
Why was it a good
I just
year?
remember like the 90s just being fun, and I remember when I was sort of that age in 96, it was it was a fun year, man. It was a fun year. Like, I think the summer was quite good. We done all right in the football. That was the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think England were in that. Were they not in that? Which one was it? They weren't. I can't remember. I'm just making myself look stupid here. Maybe I'm thinking of 1998. I don't know. I think I'm thinking about the World Cup in 1998.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to delete this, but everyone ignore the last 30 seconds of me talking.
That's your football rep out of the window right now.
Oh, it's gone.
Football rep, never talk about football anymore. Anything you say about football,
it's rejected.
It's rejected immediately.
Oh no, that's like half of what I do.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm playing, man. No, but so what was it like? So when you first come to England, what was your how did you feel? Like, what was the experience?
I think the experience was different, like probably a lot of growing up, because maybe I would say I might have sheltered myself, or I had a sheltered upbringing. Okay. So
your parents kind of protect you from the harshness of the world, do you mean?
You could say that, but also maybe more like I had the opportunities, but I did not really take it as much.
Okay.
I was more like a self-driven person.
Yeah.
If the guys around me were doing it, I'll do it. But I'll not be the one that initiates, a lot of it. So, so because of that, I did not explore as much. So I remember London was too big for me,
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where you come first. You come London first.
Yeah. And kind of went on the bus, and it's like, what's this? I did not understand what was happening.
Crazy, right?
So it was like I was not getting out of the house anymore. Yeah. So then my auntie just sent me here to stay with my cousin.
To Luton?
Yeah. And the same thing happened as well. I got lost the first time and was like, oh no. But, Luton was smaller. I started to get used to Luton, and I found Luton to be, made a lot of friends,
Yeah, that's good.
Got involved in a lot of community.
Yeah.
And lots of fun memories with friends, friends in college.
Yeah.
Went to college here,
so did you go to school here as well?
I went to college,
Just college,
and university.
So what like area did you come to move to at first? Like when you
in Luton.
Yeah.
Berry Park, actually.
Berry Park.
Yeah,
Okay, so you got in straight away. Straight away. That's like the hustle and bustle, man. That's a place that's alive with so many different communities. And it's like it's a real big place in Luton, and I think everybody's got experience living in Berry Park at least once, because it'll change your perception of the place.
Oh yeah, it does.
It really does. I remember being kind of a little bit, I don't know, I felt like it was a bit too much for me. There's too much craziness going on. It's too noisy, too many people. And, but then when I lived there in my teens, when I moved out of my mum's, I actually really liked it. I really, really liked it. I liked having that hustle and bustle there, and just you walk out into the street and you just see so many different people, and it really, really teaches you a lot.
It's true. Around when did you live in Berry Park?
So actually, when I was little, when I was about maybe, I don't know, between the ages of 2 to 4.
Yes.
I actually lived in flats in Berry Park, but I can't really remember it. I just remember I remember being out and about with my mum holding her hand and just being like mesmerised by all the different like cultures and everything that's just in front of us. But then I moved then to Stopsley. I grew up in Stopsley, and then after I moved out, I was probably about 17, I think, when I lived in Berry Park. I was like going to work. I worked down the road in there, and I lived there for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yes.
But I've lived in, since then, I lived in almost every part of Luton. Yeah, man. And do you know what? It's been a privilege to do that, because it's if I always hear people that come from just one place and they never have lived anywhere else, and they've got so many judgments of all them other places.
Very true.
And they're all wrong.
I've heard that about Berry Park.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot walk at Berry Park at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've walked back from clubbing.
Yeah.
Like in Berry Park, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and I felt no weight about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know
like
where people got that from.
It's not to say that, it's not. There are some places in Luton where it's quite bad, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
There really is. But at the same time, even in them places, it's not like chaos every day, like what people will make out. Like, okay, things do happen here. We have problems with gangs, we have problems with drugs, we have problems with crime in general. But, it's not too different to any other place around the country. It's lots of places that have the exact same problems. So I don't really think it's like a Luton problem. I think it's a society problem that's going on with that. But it's not like a war zone on every street in these areas that people would consider bad. There's a lot of good people that live in them streets,
Yeah.
You drive down the road, any road in Luton, sometimes there's 100 houses on each side of the road in some of the really old ones, right? And you can't tell me that all of them people are bad.
No. And even I think maybe now to be, like, it's been a while I've lived in Berry Park, so maybe it's a lot more different.
Yeah.
But at that time, what people were saying of it, it was like, no, I live there.
Yeah.
And that time you were saying people cannot walk. I walked on the road. A good number of times that time,
Yeah.
And it's not like I knew everybody in Berry Park, I didn't.
Yeah.
So the fact that I could do that, means,
you had a sense of the area, right? You knew this not as what people would say.
It was like, like I said, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, maybe on one occasion that comes to my mind, I remember a guy getting punched, we could say knocked out on the road, but then I think that kind of looked like, drugs was involved. And I think a lot of times that can be what happens,
definitely.
People that are involved in what they should not be involved in.
Or maybe, mental health problems as well. People, maybe it's a relationship breakdown. Maybe it's two gangs that have a problem with each other. And there's been an overspill between the areas. I don't know. There's so many different reasons, but yeah, I really don't like how people try to boil it down to like that. No, the whole place is just forget about any of the real problems that they're facing. Let's not talk about them. Let's just say the whole place is bad.
The whole place, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it's bad. But do you feel like passionate about Luton? Did you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've lived in Luton, for a while, since '96, and I've seen, a lot of things, happen in Luton.
Yeah.
Even that's part of the reason, me and two of my friends set up our organization called Develop YCIC.
Yes.
It just, see what happened, for me in particular, I saw young people, finishing secondary school and ending up on the street,
Yeah.
That did not make a lot of sense to me, and maybe why I didn't, because how they looked when they were in secondary school.
Yeah.
They looked like they were going somewhere. They looked like they had purpose, and for them to finish that, and basically, end up in the street, did not really make sense to me. And basically, it just led to me, being, a believer, praying, and then researching into the whole situation. And then kind of I came across some young entrepreneurs and looking into why they are doing good.
Yeah.
Why they were so productive at a young age. One of them is it's called Thomas Suarez.
Yeah.
At that time, he was about 13 and he had 4 apps on App Store.
Oh, okay.
So I know,
really?
Yeah, and he also had like a class in his school where he taught other young people how to develop apps.
So he's like some crazy app developer, like genius child, basically, and like a computer whiz at a real.
Oh yeah, it was he was teaching other young people how to develop apps, and his teacher assisted him to set it up. And also, basically, what they set up, they were developing apps they were selling to other schools, and that the money was going towards a foundation. So, kind of like.
At such a young age.
At such a young age. And also, there's a young lady called Gabrielle Jordan.
Yeah.
And she had a jewelry business at 8.
What?
I know, like this.
What, in Luton?
No, it's not Luton.
Oh, I was gonna say.
And actually,
I was gonna say that would be pretty wild.
You know what? We actually had something recently, a workshop in a school. This was in Dunstable, though. Like, we are hoping to get more workshops in Luton, and we are working towards, do workshops in Luton schools.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I brought up, that we need, United Kingdom examples of this.
Yeah.
We need UK examples of this. And what I found out through that is those young people are something they were passionate about, and they are support to use those passions, in a positive way at a young age.
Yeah.
Like Thomas Suarez, his dad helped him to set up an App Store. His teacher helped him to set up the classes where he was teaching. Gabriel Jordan came from, the 4th generation of entrepreneurs. So, they had the support.
Yeah, they needed to get that step up. That's really important, man. So yeah, that's so cool. I can't believe that.
I know. It's crazy. Like, and that's basically, and that's after I saw that, the desire was to basically put something in place that helped the young people to find out about their passion, and to basically use that passion in a practical way.
Yeah.
So use it in a project, and that way, like yourself, developing your communication skill, because you are using it on a regular basis.
Yeah, of course.
They can start to develop their own skill as well as young people.
Yeah, it's good for them to do that. Yeah, to have and it's good that you guys are providing that. That's amazing.
Yes.
You recently had the meeting at St Mary's, right?
Yes,
where you guys awarded some funding.
Yeah, we are awarded some funding. Yeah,
it's so good to hear. I can't think of a better person to have got that, to then use that for good in places that need it. It's really important, man. I'm really happy when you told me that you guys have been awarded some stuff.
Yeah, and it's brilliant because, like you said, give us an opportunity to do the workshops with young people.
Yeah,
in Luton.
Yeah,
we are having conversations, but it's at the early stage, so I could not share.
You can't talk about anything.
More about
yeah, of course,
it. No,
I totally understand.
But maybe in the future, sometimes I'll be able to share more.
As soon as you're off the ground, I want to help promote it and show people how good the stuff is that you do, because I really mean it, Dele. You're a great guy. Like, I've had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to you a couple of times at the different things I've seen you at. And when I see you in town, you always stop and say hello. You give me so much of your time. You're such a wonderful person. So yeah, it's really important for me that I see that people are giving you that chance to do the thing that you want to do, because I trust you with what you want to do. I know that with a person like you, or like you say about them kids, and all they need is like that little bit of support to do the thing. If you're given that support by places like, that are giving funding out, it's just going to allow you to do some great things in the world, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity, really. Kind of inspiring people, especially young people. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I remembered like one of the workshops we had recently, like at All Saints Academy in Dunstable, Assad. Talking to a young person, and her passion was, like, we have like the workshop. It actually measures your level of passion.
Okay.
I know. It's like, it's very innovative, really.
That's crazy.
It is very innovative. Yeah, it's like, I will not go too deep into it, but it just basically, also we measure the level of skills as well in the workshop.
Okay.
It's about basically kind of example showing the passion or skill.
Yeah.
And then how many examples are linked.
Okay.
So if, for an example, grief show up, 5 times, and that's your score number, it shows like you are really,
you're determined.
That's something that really, because it keeps coming out.
Yeah.
Passions come out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So basically,
so you track that with the kids.
Yeah, you work that out in the workshop. So this young person, like grief, it's like actually, people suffering grief because they suffer grief, and it's something that really touched them, and that touches them with people. So after we found that out, it's a case of, okay, do you know anybody around you that are kind of going through the same thing that you went through? They're like, yeah. You know what, that would be a great person for you to support, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something that you can research into. How do you support people that are grieving? You could get support with, that, and then support that person.
Yeah, because then you're doing it for each other.
Right? That's it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So she's already working with her passion. She's already working with her skill in a way that really means something to her, So, another person there, as is the gym. She does really positive person. She loves exercising, So again, and actually that she was actually amazing.
Yeah.
Because just from saying, kind of looking into her passion there, another young person there was like, oh, actually, you know what? I'd like to come to the gym with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it actually spread.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, tomorrow, let's go.
I bet when stuff like that happens, I bet you just sit back and go,
oh, wow, yeah.
Man, you must be so proud of being able to do that and like to give that to kids.
Oh, yeah, it was so amazing. Important. Yeah, it was amazing. So, yeah, like, if you all do our little bit,
a little bit, it adds up to a lot eventually. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you could look at it like like a sand timer, like how it starts off, it's just dribbling in and it's really small, and then after a while, the whole thing's full, right? And that's kind of like with when you're doing good work in society, it might seem really small, but as long as it's consistent and you keep doing it and other people pitch in as well, it can amount such a huge level of good that it does for people. So I'm glad that there's people like you by my side fighting the good fight and doing things for people and, you know, caring for others and being kind and wanting the community to thrive. Because if we don't do this, nobody else is. You know, the people at the top in the government, they're not coming to help us. You know, luckily we've got some really good people in our local council. But when I talk about the government, I mean, you know, the people that are presiding over the country currently, they don't seem to have people in our communities at the front of their heads. You know what I mean? They don't think about us first. They think about us last.
Yeah, it can't feel like that, isn't it? It can't really feel like that. You know, like I think, you know, sometimes, you know, it does take somebody that is from there, you know, to be able to see, you know, like war is really about what's happening there.
Yeah, you need someone from that place.
Yeah. For an example, that's one of the things, you know, I mentioned the other event. I said, Mary's that, you know what, you know, myself and one of the other directors, we've been in Luton, and the top directors actually, you know, he does not live in Luton, but he worked a long time in Luton. We've been in Luton, you know, for a long time, you know. And because, you know, I was walking on the street, I saw these young people, you know, doing very well in school. Yeah. One of them was, you know, he came to where I was working for work experience, you know. It's only young guy, you know, like, you know, not a lot of young people kind of pursue that.
Yeah.
You know, he pursued that, you know, and he was there for a good period of time. So I got to speak to him, you know, and so it was like that to see that same young person on the street, you know, like, you know, almost like it seemed like there was mental health issue, drugs issues, you know, and it's not the only one, you know. I know of, you know, young people that I play football with.
Yeah.
One of them, you know, like I was told, you know, he passed away now from drug, alcohol. You know, I remember him as a 12 years old, you know. I saw him becoming, you know, like a 21. And so, you know, like, you know, and that's why I said, you know, I saw that.
Yeah.
You know, and from seeing that, for an example, now somebody could have seen that boy as a 21 years old, and all they can see is like this boy is just this druggy, blah, 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 you know, that's what they can see.
Yeah.
I saw him as a 11 years old, you know, going to school, you know, looking like, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and that's why almost like it becomes our responsibility in a way.
Yeah.
You know, they cannot understand it.
You can't turn a blind eye.
That's it. They cannot understand it because maybe they don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, but we understand it because, you know, we saw it, you know.
Yeah. Well, we've had the experience as well. You've had the experience to live your life, know the mistakes that you made yourself. And then when you watch kids that are growing up, it gives you a better insight into like what you would have needed back then to keep you away from it. And, you know, I think that I love the fact that you're the type of person that sees that stuff and you're like, well, I've got to do something about this. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there who will moan and moan and moan about how the kids of today are and the things that they get involved with. But then if they're so unhappy about it, then, you know, do something about it. Help these kids. You shouldn't be victimizing them and blaming them about the things that they're kids. They're kids, you know.
I know.
When I mean, for me personally, I only matured maybe in the last year or so.
It's amazing.
And maybe even still not. I mean, look at me, man. I'm still on my journey. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If you take me 15 years ago, right, that guy is an idiot. I wouldn't trust him to hold a torch. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't trust him to, I don't know, go to the shop and get the milk. He was useless. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like young Deadpool's fault, right? It was just that I didn't have a good support system around me at the time. And if I would have, then, you know, things would have been different for me. And I always think about that with kids. I'm always like, you know, I don't know what's going on around you, so I'm just going to be there for you if you need me, if you want to chat, or if you want to come and like do some charity work with me, you can. Like, and I say this to a lot of the young people that I talk to, and luckily, you know, through what I've done, there's been kids that started doing like their tidy ups around their schools.
Oh,
and,
wow!
You know, kids have told me they just go out in their road every day and they go pick up rubbish. Or, you know, people have said that they started doing fundraisers because they saw I was doing it. And it's just good to see, man. It's good to see that, like, you know, if I would have got to this point and nobody's still doing anything, then I would have been really disappointed that I'd had no effect whatsoever. But I'm glad to see that there's, you know, all it takes. It's like what you said about the girl doing the gym thing, right?
Yeah.
Just by saying that you're doing it, it makes someone else interested. And that's what we should be doing. We should be looking to inspire other people and then support them into doing it, right? Like, to do the good work that we would do. It's really important, right?
Oh, definitely. And that's one of what we are actually aiming for with Develop YCIC. You know, our aim is to, you know, upskill, you know, people, you know, because that's one of the issues as well that, you know, I saw that kind of, you know, really, you know, bothered me in a way. Is the, you know, reading about like the poverty level, you know, like one of it is actually in work poverty, that people that are actually working full time.
Yeah.
And
I've heard this a lot, especially since COVID.
And are homeless, you know, like before that's linked to people not working, but these guys are actually working full time.
Yeah.
And they are in proper poverty still. So one of the aim is to upskill people locally, you know, basically by, you know, get them involved in our projects. So help them to find what they're passionate about.
Give them experience as well, I'm guessing. By doing that, it gives you a bit of experience. You can put that on your CV.
Oh, definitely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important.
Just like what you said, isn't it about some of the people, they are passionate, but they end up moaning, you know, or end up just complaining and being negative because they don't know, like, how to do something about what they are passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's part of the kind of what we are planning to do, you know, help them to kind of define that passion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then put this, like, look, you can actually do something about this passion.
Yeah.
And then help them to know how to work on goals. We have project management that they can get involved with.
Yeah.
We have, you know, like mentoring, you know, coaching they can get involved in.
Yeah.
You know, digital marketing, you know, they can get involved with an organization to get experience and to do something with their passion. And that's one of the things about the workshop that we have done, you know, like, because we did it with Noah as well.
Yeah.
You know, we did the workshop with Noah. Yeah, I know.
Really lovely people there.
Yeah. Lovely. They are, you know, like, and even the name speaks for itself, isn't it? Everybody knows Noah now.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things, you know, like we explore is what really upset people. And almost like you can come across as, how can you be talking about what really hurts people? But one thing, you know, like I normally say before I go down that line is basically, you know, you can change this.
Yeah.
You know, you can do something about it. No, that's why we can talk about this. We can talk about this because, it hurts you, but it's an opportunity for you to do something about it. You know, you can make sure, help other people not to go through the same, or help other people that are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and
so you can either prevent or you can just assist, like, whilst it's happening.
Yeah. I think about that, you know, if a lot of people in Luton that are upset about things that happen around them, they have that mindset, you know.
It's trauma, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it is, a lot of it. It's a lot of trauma that's in Luton. I was learning this with Noah today, that's a primary problem when it comes to people being homeless is some sort of trauma that people have faced, in whether it's in their relationship or something that happened to them when they was a child, or something that's going on right now. You know, it takes a toll on your life, and it leads to a lot of problems like addiction and like family breakdowns, and it can ultimately lead into you having like financial problems, and then before you know it, you're on the street. It's a crazy pathway, just having you know, trauma in your life in any way, even if it's small, even if it's just like I say small, there's not really a small trauma. You know, it's trauma. It doesn't matter how I may take something really sensitively and you may not, and that's not something that you can judge a person for. It's not their fault if, you know, they've never experienced much trauma in their life, and then the first one that hits them, it hits them hard. And it can really knock you for six. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. You know, like I said, isn't it so easy to judge? You know,
it is.
Yeah, so
I don't know. A lot of people judge, and oops, I mean, smashed sorry about that. No, but a lot of people judge, but you know, God forbid if they were ever judged. You know what I mean? That's what they feel. You know, there's a lot of people who will throw stones from glass houses, right? That saying's so true. You know, I see it all the time. The people that are the loudest and most vile about other people, often if you turn the camera around on them and you point the finger at them, they cannot take the criticism whatsoever. But they're so free to give it out to everybody else.
It's easy, isn't it?
So easy, like they can call him a name and him a name and him a name. And someone calls them a name and they're like, "Oh, don't call me names."
It's true, isn't it? And it's easy to talk, isn't it? Than to do something.
Man, do you know, personally, I love criticism. I love criticism. Sounds crazy, but I love it. I love it. The worst, like I've got a friend who I'm in a group of friends, right? And I put a lot of my ideas for what I want to do into this group, because these boys are brutal to me about it. They don't. There's not like a, you know, oh, we're gonna let him down lightly. There's none of that.
There's none of that.
We are going to throw kicks and punches at him because we're so disappointed in how bad his idea was.
Oh, wow.
It's like I get brutalized in that group for some of my ideas. And I love it because they're not always right, but it always makes me reflect.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So it's always good. You should, in your whole life, you should always reflect on what you do, because if you're not thinking about what you've done, obviously you don't want to reflect to the point where you're living in the past, but you need to be aware of like the mistakes that you make, or like, you know, the good things that you do as well, not just the mistakes. You've got to repeat the good behaviors and eliminate the bad ones, right? And having good critical friends is so key to getting better at stuff, especially if you can take it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I can see, you know, I've done you a lot of good.
It's done me a lot of good, man. Do you know what? I've been beaten so many times now, I don't feel it.
Oh, wow.
That's part of the kind of the good thing with it, is that like, when you take a lot of criticism, it stops, like, you know, I remember being younger, and if someone said something bad about me, like, oh, your hair looks bad. I'd shave my head bald. I'm not joking.
Wow.
I'd shave my head bald, I swear to you, because I was like, it would hurt me if someone said something bad about me. But then I would say bad things about other people, and I didn't see a problem with it. And it took me a long time to get to understand that, you know, if you're going to give it, you best be prepared to take it. I stopped giving it now to people, and I just get it back. But because I've got the understanding, it's like, you know, I feel like it does me good overall to be able to take criticism and sort of, you know, have a look at it and be aware of it, and then decide what to do with it. Like, am I going to pay attention to that, or am I just going to get rid of it? You know, is that person just being nasty, or are they trying to help me? You know what I mean?
Very true, very true. And if, like you said, isn't it, if you look into it, you know, and either, okay, they are right and you can adjust and things get better.
Exactly.
Or they are wrong, and then basically you go down to your idea stronger, because that actually validates it, isn't it? So
exactly. Man. No, that's bang on. Oh, let me just check to see what the time is on here, because I told you I've got to be going somewhere. We are bang on the money. Do you know what? Dele, we're going to wrap it up there.
Okay.
Because I'm so sorry. I would genuinely love to talk to you for hours and hours and hours, because I feel like I feel like we're like long lost brothers or something.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
What I'm saying?
It's always a pleasure, isn't it?
It genuinely is, man. I feel so good after I talk to you, and yeah, I just want to thank you for your friendship and for your kindness and for your commitment to the cause. You're a great man, and if I always say this whenever I talk to really, really good people, that if everybody was like you, the world would be unrecognizable. We wouldn't. All the problems that we see would be so different. The way that we look at other people would be so different. Communities would look different. Like we would treat each other so well, and because of that, society would rise up. So I pray that if anybody's watching this, that what they take from this is be like Dele, because Dele's a great guy.
No, take the good part.
yeah. Let's not take the part when we first came to England.
Very true. Boy, you know what? It's a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, we'll do this again at some point down in the future, man, because I'd love to have you on again. We'll talk about some more stuff.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah. Love you, Luton. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wicked, man. Cheers, bro. That was awesome.